Hello. I'm Duong broadcast from Singapore. Thank you for watching this, either live or recording. I really appreciate your time and hope it is worth it. If it's not, do give a comment on how we could improve. Today is a book review is on the book title Inner Game of Tennis by Timothy Gallwey, published in 1974. This is a classic book on the sport psychology. Many consider it as a Bible in tennis and in sport. I'm reading this book and I'm playing tennis and applying it. So, what is the main problem that this book is addressing? In sport, like a tennis game, a player often loses because of the weak mind. Sometimes player collapses in a game and doesn't perform to his ability. Some people like renowned sales coach or trainer, Blair Singer calls it as a leader voice. I can give you an example, like the Brazil team in 2014 World Cup. They lost to Germany 7-1 in the semi-final. It's in the home soil in Brazil. It's a humiliation for a best footballing nation in the planet. Why? Because of the mental collapse. Similarly, in life and in business, in sales, in negotiation, we often lose because of the same voice, inner voice. We let fear to get in the way. So what do we want to know? What do we want to do in those situations or in our in our life, our business? What we want is to perform to the best of our ability, which means peak performance. So according to the book, performance equal to own ability minus distraction. So performance is ability minus distraction. When the distraction is zero, you can achieve the peak performance. How? How can we get the zero distraction? By staying focused, concentration in high stakes situation, like for example, in competitive game. A player must be relaxed and perform to the level as he is in training. He must not be scared when he's losing. He must not be overconfident when he's winning, because if he is overconfident, he may overestimate himself and underestimate the opponent. That leads to the misjudgment of the situation, and which will lead to losing. He must have a stable mind, and he must not take the eye off the ball, as often said. I'm sure you heard this before, this phrase. So why is it we are distracted? So in the book, he described there's an inner game and outer games in every game, tennis game or in life. The outer game is the game that we play. For example, in tennis, you hit the ball, you pass the ball to the other side, then you play the ball, you win. So that is the outer game. But inner game is the game inside our mind, the voices, and how what's the interaction. That's the inner game, or how you condition the mind. So, according to the book, the author said that there are two selves in our mind, in our body, or in our mind, in our self. The self one is someone is like a director, a boss. Self one knows what is right, or is a critical voice. Self one is a conscious mind. Self two is the worker, the servant, the one who's listening. Or self two is the subconscious mind. For example, you can find the example in any games. This is self one, like for example in tennis. I often heard a player tells himself after missing a shot, "You bastard, move the hand quicker, keep the racket low, follow through. You are so slow." Then the player generalizes, "I can't hit the ball properly. I don't know how to play." And soon, "I am a terrible tennis player. Then I quit. This is not my thing." That is self one. But self two is just be quiet and listen listen to all the scolding, the criticizing voice by self one. Self one knows the theory, knows what is right, knows the direction, but self two is actually knowing the skill. Self two is capable of doing things. Self two is our real skill level. For example, riding bicycle. Self one is know that the need to cycle, to pedal, so the bicycle can stand and move. I need to hold the handle, look straight. Self two is the body that actually able to ride a bicycle, um, know how to coordinate and don't need to think how to do it. The above example of self one in critical mode can when hit a failure. But self one is also present in success. If it's also not good. For example, when a person player hit the right shot, self one is so proud. Yes, he views himself as a super. He's overly excited. He thinks that he can win the game already. Then the next point he loses it, and because he couldn't see the ball fast enough, because his mind is still busy. Can you see that the critical voice is the critical voice and also the proud voice in real life too? Both are not good, both are distractions. We want to be neutral or as neutral as possible and see things that as it's not so distorted view. Then we can have the right course of action to respond to the situation at hand. For example, a neutral view, like let's say in a tennis game, you have a referee and you have two players. So the two players always have the two opposite views of any incident, but the referee or the judge, he has a neutral view, no attachment, no emotion attachment. So what we want to do is we want to be like the referee, neutral. So the key is to quiet the mind, or more precisely, quiet the self one. So how can you quiet the mind? First, let go of the judgmental mind. Don't judge things as good or bad. See it as it is, neutral. Like in tennis game, as I mentioned, the referee position, a player position. We want to be in the referee position. Why is it bad when we don't view as a neutral? Like as shown above. Let's say if we let this view with we have the emotional attach. When we lose, then we criticize ourselves. Then we are trying too hard. Then we are stiff, and it leads to failure in terms of execution because we are too aware and try too hard. Then failure after failure, mistakes after mistake, because we are confused and we are in panic mode. So it's very bad. And it's the same thing, the opposite. As if we are overly excited, then we get carried away. Then we misjudge the situation, and the consequence is big. So the best is neutral. Right? Second, how to quiet, or second step is to quiet the mind or quiet self one. Keep the mind in how to do that. Keep the mind in something present, and it will stay present. By doing that, it won't be upset by going to the past. Like for example, thinking about the failures, the losing points, the mistakes, or it won't be anxious by thinking about future situation. Can I win it? Or what will happen? Can I close this deal? Right? So this quieting the mind is called meditation, the practice of mindfulness. So some guides, here's some guides. Sit. If you are sitting, watch your breath. Know when it breathes in and know when it breathes out. If you are walking, you can try to feel the weight on each of the leg, whether it's on right leg or left. So you are aware of your footsteps, which one is now stepping on the ground. By doing that, you can be present. Third is observe the present using one or a few of the five senses. For example, like see what is going on, hear the current sound, what is the sound, what's the noise around you, or touch something, use your hand to touch something and feel it, or smell, what is the current smell. So when you are able to have the five senses and you can sense, it means you are present. In the tennis, in the book, he's offering the exercise like you can watch the ball, or you can count the ball, or you can hear the sound of the ball hitting the court. So these are the same thing, using the senses to be aware of the situation. Right? So in conclusion, in summary, peak performance in sport and in life is achieved when distraction is zero. It is known as staying present. How to achieve that? By practicing meditation or mindfulness in our daily life. The author has also has a few other best-selling books on the inner game. This book is the inner game of tennis, but he's also have written other inner game book, as for example, inner game of work and the inner game of stress, inner game of golf, or inner game of music. So if you are interested, or if you want to find out more, you can read this book or those books I just mentioned. Uh, as I mentioned, this book is not only about tennis. It is about life, and when we do anything in life. So my name is Duong, and it's my pleasure to share with you today from the group of Learning by Saying. Thank you for listening. If you like the video, please like Learning by Saying page to get updates on the future review of the book and training. Thank you and see you.